I I always do these lives, and my intention is not to interrupt every 5 seconds. However, it's just naturally how I am. So I'm sorry, but Covino and Rich mentioned recently the movie Dumb and Dumber 2. Dumb and Dumber, one of my favorite movies of all time. One of my favorite. It's stupid. It hit me when I was like, I think I was like 6 when it came out. So right there, I was in the demo. I was a boy. It was stupid fart humor. It hit me in all the right places. In 2014, they came out with Dumb and Dumber 2. I never watched it. I think because I didn't want it to ruin the legacy of Dumb and Dumber. So I never watched it until about 2 nights ago, maybe. And Covino mentioned it. He was like, Dumb and Dumber 2 was like a lot better, or we didn't hype it up, or something. He was like, but I think he watched it again. Andrew Sims says he thought it sucked. I did not. Okay. So, as a grown man, and I watched it with my daughter. Well, actually, she came in at a good time. She didn't watch the whole thing with me, which there were some parts in the beginning that were a little questionable that I wouldn't really have cared for her to watch. But by the time she came in, my favorite scene of that whole movie was where they, and I loved the first one, Andrew says. And you know what? I did. I thought this one was okay. I liked it. So my favorite scene of the whole movie was where they get their free beer, and Jeff Daniels' part in there where, oh my goodness, I was laughing so hard. Actually, speaking of drink, I was at the dollar store the other day and I picked up a cup. I was there with my daughter and I was like, hey, they finally have a Daniel sized cup. So if you guys are watching this, you guys can see. If you guys are only listening to it in the future, then just know it's about 2 liters worth of water. Let me see. Let me change my camera right here. Right here. Look at this bad boy. Look at my head. It's bigger than my head. So, one thing about today's show is I'm going to be plenty hydrated. And I'm excited. Let's go ahead and check out the interview. There we go.
We're at the All-Star Game, Truist Field, and we have a guest. He's got a new album, he's got a new residency, and he's singing the national anthem. It's Zac Brown.
Zac Brown. No, I got to ask you.
What's happening?
Now, I feel like a guy like you, fully composed, a guy like Covino's like, even he's got to be a little nervous for the national anthem or a performance like this. You got any nerves or no?
What if you can create your own website by saying, this is what I want? With Wix, you can. First up, let's talk about AI color themes. You can get any combos you want, bold and bright, minimalist and sleek, or something you didn't even think of. Just describe the vibe you want, or even use the colors of your logo, and let AI do its thing. Beautiful. Next up is the AI section creator. This is great for those website essentials, like a contact section or a place to subscribe. Now,
there we go. I don't know what the hell happened, but when it kicked to commercial, it's white. I can't click anywhere. So I don't know what the hell to do. Okay, first Lisa says, that's a peacher. A peacher. Have I ever sounded more Mexican in my whole life? That's a pitcher. That's a pitcher, bro. That's not a pitcher. That's a cup with a little spout on it in case I want to pour it into my mouth. Look at it. That's a look right here. That's a spout so I could drink. Andrew, it's not Seagram 7 and 7, even though that's my favorite alcoholic drink of all time. What the hell happened here? What happened here, bruh? No, all right. Let's actually get into the interview now. Come on now. There we go. Now where's the freaking volume? Oh my gosh. Today's a shit show. Where the
Like when I get ready to go play a show, I just get like I'm in a shoot, like let me out and let me go do my thing. I love it.
Have you been preparing? You know the words.
Yeah, I've sung it a couple times. Actually, it was a Braves game. The first time I ever did the anthem, I was 14 at Fulton County Stadium when it was over at the other.
First observation in watching this interview, I am stunned, and I will not tell. I not for any other way, but I didn't know. The last time I saw Zac Brown, he was bigger, says Lisa. He does look like he shed a few pounds, if that's actually what you're talking about. But oh my God, my first initial reaction is he's a lot shorter than I thought he was. I don't know why, if he has that man voice or what, that I pictured him freaking tall. Maybe it's because he usually wears those Mountie boy hair, hats or whatever that give you like another 2 or 3 inches on top. But look at him next to Rich. Rich is 6 foot. I thought he was as big as you. Yeah, Marty, I did too. I thought he was a big dude. Lisa says on stage he was a giant presence, and that's the thing, is that I don't know if it's his voice, the way he is a broad dude, even though he's a little munchkin baby. Even though he's a short little dude, he has a deep voice. He's broad. I thought he was, he's probably usually wearing boots, big old Mountie hat. I thought this dude was 6'2", 6'3". If he would have been 6'4", I wouldn't even have questioned it. Now, to see him shorter than Rich on the left, and then Covino, on our left, on his right, and Covino, what the hell? I'm tripping. Okay, let's get to actually the content of the interview, and let's see what's up. Lisa, I saw multiple times he had lots of facial hair too. Yeah, shaved the facial hair, lost some weight. You know what? Maybe he lost so much weight that he lost a couple of inches on the fat on the bottom of his feet, right? If I lose a lot of weight, I'll probably be like 5'9".
Spot. So I had some nerves then, but it's pretty easy now.
It's funny you would say when you were 14, because Cal Raleigh won the home run derby last night.
If I was walking down the street and this dude walked past me and bumped into me, I'd be like, oh, it's all good, man. I would not know that was Zac Brown.
Video floating around of him as a little kid, like, I'm going to be a home run derby champ. You got some old footage of you playing in front of, like, not many people. Do you have some of that stuff?
Yeah, playing in a coffee house. But, honestly, not to date myself, but no one had cameras in their pockets. Like, somebody had to literally carry a camera around with them to actually get that. So, I don't know. There's some footage when I was working at camp, summer camp, singing when I was probably 16, 17.
Do you remember the first person that really believed in you, like, yo, Zac, stick with it, man. You got this.
Yeah, my brother-in-law, David, when I was young, I was playing guitar and singing. He's like, you ought to move to Nashville and go do this, and
the first guy that believed in him was his cousin or brother-in-law or whatever he said. I can play a little bit of guitar. From the first time I could ever strum just like a G chord, right? D chord, C, E, A minor, whatever. My dad was like, mijo. He was like, he thought I was freaking a rock star. I must have been like 10, right? Bring, 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 bring. Blink-182. But it's so funny because my dad was, I don't know if he was being supportive or if it was just because he always wanted to play guitar and he never learned. But my very first supporter, my dad.
People, it's amazing in a young person's life when somebody says something like that to you, like, hey, you're really good at these, just stick with it. Like, that can be a life-changing moment.
And he goes from coffee house to the Sphere in Vegas. That's a huge announcement.
By the way, great trip.
Let me guess. You're thinking about going to therapy. And as a therapist myself, of course I'm going to say that's
these damn
great
commercials.
idea.
And you know what?
Transition
Fuck
there.
you,
You like
YouTube.
that? You like that? Yeah,
I am not getting premium.
When I was a kid, I was like, I'm going to be a big radio star. See, look at me now. Yeah. No, man, tell me about that. Are you involved in the process?
Do you guys remember Rich's girlfriend in high school wrote him in his freaking yearbook? She was like, you're going to move to LA one day and be a big radio star. So it's crazy because his first however many years of radio, 10 years or so, he was in New York. And look at him now in LA interviewing Zac Brown at the freaking home run derby, the gigantic glove. Or was that only Covino? So yeah, it's crazy how when I was a kid, I thought things like that were cool. I was like, it'd be dope to be a rock star. It'd be dope to be on the radio. It'd be dope to be on TV. It'd be dope to be an actor, right? I had all these things I loved. But none of them were ever, in my mind, ever a possibility of doing being in the NBA, right? I never wanted to play. I played football when I was a kid, but I never wanted like to be in the NFL or the MLB. Don't really like baseball to this day. However, that was never on my radar to be like, I could do this or I could whatever. And it's so crazy because I feel like nowadays, more than ever, kids really are like, in my mind, I was like, I'm going to graduate high school. I'm going to go to college. I'm going to get a degree, maybe, or maybe not, get a job, get married, have kids, die. Right. And that's pretty much how I've done all of that without dying, so far. And, but being a rock star, being a radio personality like Rich and Covino and how they were like, they always wanted to do that. It's crazy because if I could go back in time, I probably would do like broadcasting or marketing or something like that I really do dig. Like I dig, editing things. I dig audio production, video production. I dig freaking messing with Photoshop and doing, little flyers and whatever the hell. I love all of that. And I do that. Like I still do get paid by certain people to do things, or whatever. It's kind of like part-time little side income, I guess. What do they call it? Side gigs, side job, whatever. I don't know. It's not a blow though, right? So anyway, it's never too late, Andrew says. You're right. It is never too late. And you know what? That's actually something that with actually editing and doing stuff like that, I've been doing more of that like on the side and actually getting side hustle. That's what I was looking for. Side hustle. So I, I've been doing a lot more editing and stuff and, for actually pay instead of just like, oh yeah, I'll do it for free. I've been actually doing stuff like that. So I don't know, maybe grow that little by little and eventually have that be my sole income. I wouldn't be mad at that. I was working on something with Danny G, and he was like, hey man, any remote things come up at I'll put your name out there. And I was like, all right, dog, throw my name out there, homie. I'll keep helping you however I can or whatever. So yeah, I mean, that would be, just having that, I think would be so dope. Even if I had remote things that I would do here and there for them, I think they'd be so dope. Lisa, what did she say? Sometimes if you try to make a hobby you love a full-time job, you ruin it. I think that's part of, I don't want to say ruin it, but this kind of stuff, editing, video, audio, all that, I love doing. And I don't know if I'd love it as much if it was my 9 to 5, but maybe if it was my 9 to 5, I wouldn't need so much of a creative outlet like this. Maybe there would be no after show. Maybe Jesus put me on this earth to work a normal job so I could be here for you guys. You never know. Anyway, let's check this out.
Process in the design, like how big is this for you?
This is the biggest thing we've ever done. And this is my baby. And I've been wanting to do a spectacle for the last 2 or 3 years and finding the right moment to do it but that place is the craziest canvas for creativity that's ever been made. So you're only limited by your imagination and your budget.
Yo.
So we've been cranking this. We've been working on the content for 14 months. And we've still got a few months to go, but it's the stuff we have right now is mind-blowing.
How hands-on are you with the visuals and everything?
All of it. I'm hands-on with every second of it, from wardrobe to the design. I mean, we filmed a 40-piece orchestra. We filmed a 20-person choir. We've got, and this album, same name, Love and Fear, is the same name as the show at the Sphere. But this is our masterpiece so far, and this is one of those years to like bet on yourself, and you have.
It's crazy. So I just there's no secret that I like pop music and all that, right? We almost to hotel, 600 miles today. Got to wrap up the day. Keep it up, bro. Hey, thank you, Marty. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, the whole Chavez family. I appreciate you guys. But what the hell was I going to say? You see how quick I lose my train of thought? what did he say? I think he said something that reminded me.
To fund it all, same name, Love and Fear is the same name as the show at the Sphere, but this is our masterpiece so far. And this is one of those years to like bet on yourself, and you have to fund it all. It's like making a movie, making a movie that goes along with
I think I have it.
it, and it's people will not expect what's.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. So he's doing the show at the Sphere, right? He's going to be doing the show at the Sphere. And I just listened to a 2.5 hour interview with Chris Kirkpatrick. If you know him, the best part of their music is the orchestra, strings, and harmonizing. Well, you know what, Lisa? That goes right along with what I was going to say. I watched like a 2.5 hour interview I listened to. I was cleaning and stuff as I had it on my AirPods. But with Chris Kirkpatrick from NSYNC, and one thing that he was talking about, I understand like how they layer things, right? When they're actually recording, right? So they like sometimes I remember watching people like in the studio and they would like dub, they would sing the same part twice, whatever. Well, like somebody like NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, O-Town, they have like a 5-part harmony, right? Freaking 98 Degrees has a 4-part, LFO has a 3-part harmony, but to get that full sound, which is why they like to keep 5 members typically, is you get that 5-part harmony. One thing I didn't know, and I didn't even know it was really possible, Chris was saying when they would record on the record, it sounded so full and it was so, I don't know, just the engineering and production of it. They had like 20-part harmonies or 50-part harmonies or whatever. And I was like, holy crap. Like, I remember there's an episode of Making the Band where O-Town's doing the recording Love Should Be a Crime with Mark Hudson. Mark Hudson's worked with the Beatles. He was actually on Paul McCartney's albums, right? He was a background singer, whatever. So they're working and they're singing it around. They're around this tube mic. It almost looks like a Avitone CV12. It's a tube mic. It's actually tube for the actual type of mic, but it's actually like a cylinder as well. And they're sitting around it and they're singing. It's just a normal 5-part harmony when they're recording it. And I was like, holy crap. I didn't realize, like, I understand they layer things. They, so much production with the music. So they're, I love watching those behind the scenes videos where they'll have like the dude that, created that mixed Smells Like Teen Spirit, right? And he's lowering these on the mixer and he's moving this up, and then it's only Kurt Cobain right here, and then it's freaking, he pulls it down, you only hear the drums, and right here he lifts it, how they dub it, and one thing that Chris was saying is that you have that much production and somebody comes to see you live, you need to get it to as close as that as possible. So that's why you see Zac Brown, they're doing it in the Sphere. And they have the orchestra, they have the strings, they have just the normal Zac Brown band. I'm like, that must be so nuts. Right now, I know Bree just went to the Backstreet Boys residency at the Sphere. It's so crazy over there. And it's like, I just can't imagine being at a show that big with, especially like Zac Brown, where they have a live band. And, it sounds nuts to me. Lisa says, that's why getting that immersive experience live without production is incredible. I agree. And that's why I actually love going to live shows. Just like we're going to go see Morgan Wallen. I'm not a huge fan, but I know it's going to be a dope show. I know it's going to be dope. Morgan Wallen, Miranda Lambert, I was a fan of her years ago, before she did my homie Blake wrong. But I just looking at that live, and I always think, like, especially like Ed Sheeran, right? It's just him and his guitar for the most part, right? And they have, obviously he has a band and stuff, but for the most part, Ed Sheeran can just be an acoustic performance, him and the guitar. And I love that about bands in general. If, computers died, whatever, and, we could never have any technology ever again except, your amps and your guitars and your drums or whatever, you could still put out this music that you can still put out this music that is so dope, right? You may not have the 20-part harmony, the 50-part harmony. Maybe you have Blink 182 and you have Where Are You, right? But you have Mark Hoppus and you have Tom DeLonge, right? And you have Travis back there. But the world could go to crap and you could still have that live performance. I love music. I freaking love music. And I know everybody bags on me for like my pop music, but I love all kinds of music. The other day I was playing, I put it on my Instagram story. Someone's knocking at my door. Right? Freaking Wings, right? Paul McCartney and Wings. And let them in, right? Like, I love the Beatles. I love the Beatles. And I love her, right? I love the Beatles. And you know what? A lot of that comes from songs that, like I've said before, my dad used to say he looked like Gorilla Monsoon. What's his name? Clive Davis. Clive Davis was like, these songs have to be songs that people want to sing around the world. And that's what you have with the Beatles, right? You have like, Hey Jude, right? Where they're very simple. They're very, they're melodic. But they're songs that are timeless. And I don't even know how I got off on that tangent, but here we are. 4 minutes in an interview. Let's watch some more of it.
Gonna happen there. I'll tell you that much. It's gonna be incredible.
Well, you're talking about Love and Fear. I heard Dolly Parton's on the album. She's gonna be in Vegas too.
That's right. Any
Any surprise appearances and duets from her?
We may or may not be doing some amazing collabs too. I mean, the song that she sang on this album, I just sent it to her, and what she sent back and how she sang on it was just.
You know what's crazy is that Dolly Parton's like 400 years old, and it's crazy, like, because she looks like she's got like all the makeup, she's got the hair, she got like the fake nails with the big old. It looks like now she's wearing these actual gloves that have nails attached to them, so her hands don't look so wrinkly. But if you look at, I know I'm not breaking the glass here, but it was something that I saw recently, was like pictures of her when she was young, and I was like, she was actually really beautiful when she was young. But I guess because my whole life, she's been like 400 years old, right? So it never even crossed my mind. I'm like, yeah, I hear she was like a sex symbol back in the day, and she was like this young country girl or whatever. But that was like decades and 20 decades ago, you know what I'm saying? So, and I actually saw pictures of her. I don't know if it was like a documentary I was watching on her or something, but I was like, oh, damn, she was actually really pretty back in the day. Right? Yeah, I'm the first person to ever say that.
Now is as good as it ever was. She's insane. There'll never be another Dolly Parton, and to have her on this album and in Vegas the same time that we are, so we're cooking up some stuff for the fans.
And there's a lot of collaboration. Snoop Dogg.
Andrew, so you said Clive Davis and Gorilla Monsoon. 100%. It's so funny because my dad, when I was young, he would always be like, míralo. He's like, parece, he's like, Gorilla Monsoon, no? And I was like, actually, he does. Like, that's so funny. So to this day, I see him in an interview because he'll do stuff like with Netflix or whatever, especially when they're doing like behind the scenes type of whatever, right? Clive Davis. And it's so funny that every time I see him, I mean, my dad passed in 2011. Here we are 13 years later, 14 years later, almost 14 years. And that still crosses my mind every time. Lisa, you don't need those gloves. Calm down. Dolly Parton could be your grandma, Lisa, so calm down with that. All right, back to the interview.
First single, but I heard word on the streets there's a lot of rock. Like a rock, and I'm a big rock fan. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so there's 3 rock songs on the album that are killing, I mean, we did the one with Chris Cornell back in the day. We got our first #1 on the rock chart, which was like a dream of mine because I'm such a rock fan. And we've got some heat on this record too. So super excited. I wrote with Dave Grohl for this record. Wrote with Dan Reynolds from Imagine Dragons. Charlie Starr from Blackberry Smoke. Like we've got some real rock in there, and some of it is just like.
Hey, so Dave, right now, Dave said, let me go back to this camera. Dave said, my wife and daughter also went to the BSB concert, like Bree. I was kind of jealous after seeing their videos. And you know what? It's funny because on TikTok, my algorithm's been like nothing but BSB Sphere videos. And I can't even imagine being there, right? And what's cool about the Sphere, or Sphere, not the Sphere, is that they're all, wherever you're sitting is a freaking dope seat, right? Typically they have monitors, right? So that you're looking, like we saw Luke Bryan in Vegas, right? So Luke Bryan's on the stage, and then you have a gigantic monitor where you see Luke Bryan, or you could look at him right here. Well, at the Sphere shows, they have freaking, here's Zac Brown, and behind him is a 3,000-foot Zac Brown, where the entire Sphere behind him is the freaking monitor. And, you know, so just watching all of that and seeing the videos of where they they integrate it into their show. I know Mike, it's because it says Magical Mexican. I know Magical, we'll call you here on the show, is that's part of the experience, right? And being there, I can't even imagine. So, I'm gonna have to, when I see your wife, I'm gonna tell her how pissed I am, and I want to see some of those videos. Andrew says that's hilarious. I'm surprised you know who Gorilla Monsoon is. You know what's so funny is that Gorilla Monsoon, I know he's from the WWF, but I never watched him. That was a little bit before my time. But just watching, because even in the Attitude Era and a little before that, they would have throwback videos, or they would go to Gorilla Monsoon backstage, or they would. So I actually got to see him a lot like that. I never saw him in his heyday because I was a baby, right? Or not even born. But yeah, I definitely know the reference. It's almost like Sergeant Slaughter. When I was young, Sergeant Slaughter made a comeback during the Attitude Era, and he still had a couple of fights, right? He was only 50 at the time, or maybe even 45, but in my mind, as a 9-year-old, he was 113. What does Lisa say? I think I'll just I'll get motion sickness or a seizure. And you know what? I don't think I would, but I just think it would be so freaking bad. And like I said, I love live shows, so I think I would just pretty much, I don't know. Next time I'm in Vegas, I think I have to just go to a Sphere show, no matter who's performing. I think I have to do that. The last couple of times I was there, I think Kenny Chesney was there. Who was there the time before that? I was there in April as well. There was somebody else there. And I think the Eagles. Damn it. I love the Eagles, man. That's another musical taste that I get from my dad, which is funny because my dad, growing up, hella Mexican, right? And he liked the Eagles, the Beatles. He was the one who introduced me to the Beatles, Bee Gees, freaking all these white ass bands that you would think this, it's funny because you would think, what is this Mexican doing listening to music like that? But I think it goes back to what I said earlier about something that Clive Davis said, is that you have these songs that are simple, right? The Beatles, you have Because the World Goes Round, right? Yeah, Because, you have Michelle, My Belle, right? They're so damn simple. Even some little Mexican kid that doesn't know a lick of English can sit there and actually sing it and help them learn English. So that's what I think, now that I'm thinking about it, that's probably why he loved all those bands, On a Dark Desert Highway, right? Or The New Kid in Town. Oh my good, right? Those are all so simple, but they're timeless, especially for somebody barely learning English. What does it say? Los Aguilas? What the hell does that mean? I tell you, Andrew, I'm not that Mexican. I don't fake it.
This is our chance to do a rock opera thing, It's just this is our moment to do something that's Vegas, but on us. There's 4 acres of video in that place.
Thank you,
they have to
Andrew.
measure it in acres.
Now, when you write music, I always hear artists say, that song came to me in 5 minutes. This one we labored over for months. Any of your big hits, ones that just came to you, and did others take months?
Lisa goes, I never assume somebody's musical preference based on ethnicity. I do. I mean, I just do. I see a white boy with a cowboy hat. I don't think he's like on a. I don't think I don't think he's singing. I just want a bad bitches, all of them nuts I never had, right? And he very well could be. That's my ignorance. But if I'm being honest, or I see some freak like okay, I'll give you a perfect example. There we are, right? CRC 20, and freaking. I'm there. I see EJ walk in. EJ walks in and he goes straight to write his name down because he's gonna perform, right? And then Lonnie walks in, and Lonnie walks in and he goes and he puts his name down or whatever. And then EJ gets up there and he's like, Spoon Man, or whatever the hell he's saying. And I was like, I thought he was going to be like, I was like, good gracious, asses, bodacious, flirtatious, right? And that's just me. That's just my ignorance, right? So, let's see. Lisa says, I own 4 acres, and that's a lot of video. Jeez. I don't get it. It's a lot of video? I own 4 acres, and that's a lot of video. All right, anyway. But yeah, I do. So, I would say... most times I'm not wrong. I need to start posting my Meta glasses drives with me singing. Yeah, you know what, Lisa? I would love to see that. Actually, you know what? Spot, I was actually stoked because Spot got his Meta glasses, and to see him going to his seats and everything. See, Lisa, I wasn't even paying attention to the damn video that I'm commenting on. But to see Spot with the Meta glasses going to his seat and everything, I thought it was super dope. So, Lisa, go ahead and share some of those. Make a TikTok. Just call it Meta Lisa, right? It'll be like the Mona Lisa, but you'll be Meta Lisa, and all it will be be a video through your eyes. I would love to see that. I'm subscribed already, and you haven't even created the account.
So you guys working it out and writing.
For sure. It happens every kind of way, man. Sometimes you finish it in 3 hours, and sometimes, like Goodbye in Her Eyes, I was waiting for a bridge for that for 11 years. So, but if you know it's great, you don't want to compromise. You don't want to just mail it in. You know, you got to wait until every line is like what you want it to be.
How do you know when it's done, by the way? That's always the obstacle, I imagine, right?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think you got a good radar. And when you're co-writing with somebody, and you're looking for that line, somebody will say something, you're like, let's try to beat that, you know, and then it doesn't matter who says it.
I remember there was a Zac Brown song, speaking of Zac Brown, that I remember I was talking to my buddy, and there was this chick that I was digging at the time, and he was like, dude, just freaking, when you see her tomorrow or whatever, he was like, just go and talk to her or just bullshit or whatever. He's like, what do you have to lose, right? And then I remember around that time was when Zac Brown, As She's Walking Away, came out. And I remember playing that song and being like, you're right. What do I have to lose, right? I'm driving there, you know, I'm like, even though I don't think I look very Mexican, I picture myself like Cheech and Chong, just driving, be like, Mexican American, right? Driving, listening to As She's Walking Away, and I just picture myself looking like Cheech Marin or Cheech Marin, how some people say it, but I picture Cheech Marin right there, Mexican American, and I just picture myself like that, As She's Walking Away. Definitely want to create without my actual name. Definitely want to create. You know what, Lisa? Do it. I would definitely. Meta Lisa P, METALISAP, Meta Lisa P. Nope, nobody, or you know what though? You don't want P. They're gonna put it together. Lisa Praggio. Okay. Let's go Meta. Let's create a name in the chat for Lisa. My Old Man song. Oh, My Old Man song kills me. Same, Lisa. And I love Zac Brown. Actually, there's a lot of songs I dig from Zac Brown. But we got to think of Lisa's meta name right now. Lisa, Meta, Lisa, Meta, Lisa, Mega Meta Lisa. Meta Lisa, maybe. I don't know. Let me know if you're future dude. Let me know in the comments what Lisa's name should be. She doesn't want it associated with her, but we want to see these videos of her long road trips with her Meta glasses singing, and we need to give her a disguised name so people don't track it back to her. Next thing you know, these videos go viral. She has to change her phone number. Videos are only 3 minutes. That's all good, Lisa. You know all you need for TikTok? 15 seconds. 15 seconds. 3 minutes? 3 minutes? 15 seconds divided into 3 minutes? What is that? That's about 47 videos you can make with that. All right? 3 minutes. 3 minute mama. 3 minute mama. 3 minute mama. 3 minute mama L, right? No, then I'll say 3 minute mama. Okay, never mind. Anyway, Lisa, do it. Let me know because I want to check out your channel. All right.
When you're writing, somebody will say it, and you know it's the right one when everybody agrees. Everybody's
how do you politely be like, yeah, that's good, but
well, I mean, I think that's the thing.
You know what? I let them go through 5 seconds of interview before I jump in, but my mind, obviously, I think you guys can tell. In my personality and how I go 50 miles a minute. Anytime anybody says anything, and I think I've said this on the podcast before, but anytime anybody says anything, like if they're like, oh, I couldn't get there without my shoes. And I'm like, without my shoes. Oh, that'd be a dope song, Without My Shoes. Or Get There, couldn't get there would be a dope song. Would that be like the hook? Nah. Would that be the title of the song? Couldn't get there? Couldn't get there. Or maybe Without My Shoes. That could be a good band name. Without My Shoes. What would the logo look like? That's how my mind is going 24 hours a day. So it's funny because I don't watch a whole lot of TV shows or movies or whatever. Even if I'm going to watch something, I typically listen to it. So I could be doing other things, right? I could be writing notes. Here's some of my notes from work right here. Look at boom. Look, you see that? So, I'm typically doing something, writing something, doing the dishes or doing whatever. And my mind is just going like that 24 hours a day. And it's funny because sometimes I can't even concentrate when people are talking because, they'll say like, oh yeah, that was a good burger. I'm like, good burger, great movie. Keenan and Kel. What's Kel been up to? Man, he was on Covino and Rich. He was always so cool. You know what? I looked him up and he is that friggin' actually the end of that thought is Kel actually goes to church every like Sunday at this small church in like LA or whatever. But it's not even like in the heart of LA. It's wherever he lives. And he's there like every week or whatever. So that's where my brain goes. So yeah.
Like it's such a positivity so important. It's like fertile ground for creating. So you don't want to hate on anything. You just want to be like, that's great. Let's hold that. Let's keep that here. Let's see if we can beat that later. And you move on to something else. And you go back. You're like, listen, and like this part's not quite as strong as the rest of it. So let's see if we can beat that line. And if you're collaborating with the right people, you can do that. And there's no ego about it. When the right thing pops out, everybody's like, that's the one. That's the one.
Yeah. I want to get back to the album, but we're here for the All-Star Game. Zac Brown, obviously. We always say
this is a reference because we just freaking came from the CRC. But I feel like if Tom Segura and Baba Ganoush had a baby, it would be Zac Brown. Something about Zac Brown reminds me of Baba Ganoush. A little bit of him reminds me of Tom Segura. So I feel like if Baba Ganoush and Tom Segura had a baby, it'd be Zac Brown.
Music and sports goes hand in hand. You're a big Atlanta Braves guy. Were you a good player growing up? Did you have some skills? Were you a good baseball player?
No, I never played baseball. I never did, but I loved it. Baseball cards were my life. I used to ride in Cumming, Georgia, down the road. I'd ride 5 miles on my bike to work at a card shop, and I got paid in baseball cards. So I was like fanatic.
Imagine
more
being able to build
commercials
anything, for any reason,
they want
in any
so
style,
hard for me to freaking
at any scale, just by thinking about it.
get that premium
Card collector.
What was your best one back in the day?
Man, back then it was probably an Eric Davis rookie card, like 87 Fleer was
Or
like,
that Jose Canseco rookie?
oh yeah, all the rated rookie, yeah, all the
cards. I remember when I was like, I must have been like 4 or 5. because I remember the house we were at when this incident happened, and we moved out of that house when I was like 5. But they're talking about cards. I remember, so my brother and my cousins were all about getting their Beckett, right? Looking up cards. How much are they worth? Okay, cool, whatever. And what they would do is whenever they'd have a bunk card, they would give it to me if it was a black dude that was bald, and they would say it was Michael Jordan. I couldn't read yet, right? So I was probably like 4, because, I mean, even in kindergarten, you start being able to read. I had 50 Michael Jordan cards, and they were all the weakest player on the team that, you know, till this day, my family still tells the story where they're like, and then Danny would come in, Mom, I got another Michael Jordan. And they all laugh. And I'm like, you're laughing at your little dumbass kid. And, you know, they weren't, my brother and my cousins, they weren't doing it to be malicious. They were just, you know, we don't want this. And hey, we'll just tell them it's Michael Jordan. I knew Michael Jordan was dope. And now looking back, I'm like, my dumbass little brain didn't think, hey, why is he wearing different clothes in every one of these damn, you know, why he's a bull. Why is he wearing purple? You know? Oh my, what a dumbass. Come on, play.
87 with the wood border for Topps.
Yeah, they printed 9 billion
I know.
of those Topps cards. They're still around. You can still get the piece of gum out of there and break your teeth on it.
Well, as an Atlanta guy, who was your guy? Is like Chipper Jones, Dale Murphy. Who was your dude?
Yeah, back then, Dale Murphy, Bob Horner. And Bob Horner wasn't really like a guy that looked like an athlete. A lot like John Kruk back in the day. It's like those kind of guys. But, you know, I was at the game when he smashed 4 home runs in a game. And it's like, but those memories are attached, like, at those cards. When I look at it, like, takes me right back to when I was a kid.
Well, I got to ask you, we just got off the field, and we were overwhelmed. It's like Aaron Judge, all our heroes were there. Right. Do you get that thrill meeting some of these guys?
Absolutely. I mean, my son just met Ellie De La Cruz.
Oh, my God.
And just like, that just made his day, because we've been watching that dude's highlights, man. He's an absolute alien.
And, you know, it's cool. It's a mutual respect, because they feel that way when they meet you.
That's weird. Because, like, awesome. Musical heroes and things like that, getting to collaborate and work with people that are your heroes, they're like superheroes. And then you're friends with them. That's even more weird. You're, like, at their house. It's like, it's weird.
That's wild. Now, I got to ask, because you have new stuff that your fans are excited about. In fact,
that's wild.
Within 5 minutes of learning that we were going to interview you, my wife's best friend's like, we got to go see Zac Brown. They just announced Vegas. Fans excited about the new stuff. You got the old hits. Do you get excited to play both, or are there times where you're tired of the old stuff, or do you like still love that?
No, I still love it when I'm on stage, like because the goal. I just love making people feel good. So when they're singing along and singing back to me, I love it. Like, I don't sit around my house just singing Chicken Fried. But when I'm on a stage, I absolutely love it. I love the energy it brings. I love that connection with the fans. So
wait, I'm sorry to interrupt. Are you wearing a pair of jeans that fit just right? Or are those them? Nice, man.
Hey, all right. Nice little reference there, Covino. But you know what, though? There's a few more minutes left in this video or this interview. I'm going to let you guys go ahead and check out the rest of it on your own time. I did so much talking here. We're already at like 45 minutes in, and this was take 2. Anyway, keep an eye out soon. In about 10 days, we have Happy Gilmore 2 coming out. Hopefully, Andrew Sims likes it. I know he hated Dumb and Dumber 2, even though I dug it. But yeah, and then let me know in the comments if you got to see Shane Gillis at the ESPYs. So anyway, it's your boy D, the after show, but later. Episode number, you know what episode this is? Episode number 299. Thanks, Andrew. Lisa said, sorry, I derailed you. Not at all, Lisa. I always have a good time. Actually, I thrive on the comments and being derailed. I love it. I don't have a co-host anymore, so I have nobody to bounce things off of. So you guys being here, I love it. So yeah, episode number 299. It's your boy D. I will see you in the next video.
On the road to the riches, cause it's all about the paper. Now buckle up your seats and prepare for the journey. Let the music ease your soul, grab a spliff and start burning. Relax with us and take a trip to the heavens. And come and spend a day in the 757.